ang atong buhaton karon, atong limpyuhan tong ato ang Pernary Garden para nga pagdaghan na sa ato ang mga bisita. So nga ato ang fern daghan siya. Budugang po tagtanom sa other area pa nga ato ang katamnan. So na-form ang Balinsa Saya Twin Lakes Farmers Association. Pinagi sa ato ang Office of the Provincial Government, former George Arnaiz. So karon nga ginahinay na og kuan nga nanang ato ang mga ecotourism activity, ato ang guiding, ato ang mga boating activity. So nakalikom na, naka-earn nagpundo ang ato ang Balinsa sa Twin Lakes Farmers Association nga makapadalagan nga kanang kami ragyod sa pinagi sa amuang mga opisyalis ug mga membro.
Nakasugod kog trabaho dire 2009. Sa pagsugod nako og trabaho daghan ming bisita itong mga panahon na pagkakaron nga naatay COVID. Mingaw na tagbisita dire. Kumparar sa una lahi na gud kaayo.
Kami dire sir pag wala nang turista marag wan mi kadumi sa COVID minus mig pring hambuyan pagkakaron. Walay income kayo. Tapos ipumi maka kita og lain trabaho. Napagtahan gud tanan. Sa una nga daghang bisita, medyo okay kayo nga buhi. Karon nga wala na. Luga-luga gud ta ini. Ang gibuhat guro sa nga pagka aron nga COVID pa ta. Dagas og lubi. Ug kabaligya-baligya ra mig inagmay nga manok. Kumuhaan sa pingabuyan, tapos na aramay mga tanong dito sa akong pares. Kamote, langhoy, saging. Kabag-abag ro gusto ang pinangabuyan. Ay isip mo kayo, matay ka puntahan.
Before na COVID, sir, kuan kanang amo ang maluto dire nami makahurot og mga 10 ka kilong manok. Sa una mo ni among katong before COVID mo ni amo ang mabutangan og mga order pasunod number 1 hantod unsa nga kuan lugos namang gani namo masunod og kuan sir luto kay tungod sa kadaghan. Pagkakaron sir kuan mingaw na kaayo. Nagani sa iska adlaw walay magpaluto na mo dire.
Alahara ko kay sa una kay karon sa una magsinubra man ang piningabuhi. Daghan namang mga turis taga laing lugar. Kumpara pagkakaron ultimo taga atuan din ni. Wala na gani. Ga duty with dire. Anay panahon nga wagoy bisita. Wagi mi income madlag pulis amo sa wala purong sakita. Ako motor dire ra gud ni impas. Siyempre kabulan ako motor ikas pagkuha na impas dire. Ani rang among bangka-bangka. Kay dagko mutog income. Karon dugo sa kita kapalit sa kilong bugas. Ay wa na gima income na to ini.
Before COVID, maka-income na ay 20,000 sa iska adlaw ra na siya. Dayon karon gikan atong July 18 nag-open mi dire. Gamay gud mi kayog income matag adlaw na ragoy kuan na itag 200 kapin sa matag adlaw.
Karong panahon na layo og sa una. Sa una medyo kita sa adlaw inamurot ka anos kasi man na. Kumpara karon. Daghan po kayong mabulahan mga kauban ako.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang mag-ibig, ewas ng sinakanan,
Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of the Lord as we all together say, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. To our brothers and sisters who have contacted and are suffering due to the coronavirus disease, we pray that God's healing hand may rest upon you. To medical doctors, nurses, and the supporting staff who are in the front line of the fight against COVID, may the good Lord sustain you and inspire you to render your life-saving services with due care, love, and compassion. To all those who have lost their loved ones due to the coronavirus outbreak, we convey our deepest sympathies. We pray that their souls, through God's mercy, may rest in eternal peace. We pray that God may grant all bereaved families His consolation and strengthen their faith and hope in Jesus Christ, our risen Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, maayong hapon ka natong tanan. Thank you for joining us for yet another educational and informative afternoon brought to you by the live show of the Department of Trade and Industry Region 7 entitled Youth Entrepreneurship Program, or YEP. My name is Bea Everdone, and I will be your host for this afternoon, and I'm very excited because I assure you guys, ang dami po nating matutunan ngayong hapon. But first and foremost, before we get onto the program, I'd like to ask you guys, how are you all doing? Comment down sa comment section below if you're feeling happy, if you're feeling sad, whatever your feelings are, it's very welcome here. And I sincerely hope that you guys were able to have a restful weekend, or maybe since we just had the All Souls Day or the All Saints Day, I'm hoping naman no, na even if we couldn't practice our usual traditions, our usual practices, and things that we used to do with our family, hopefully you were still able to spend time with your family, or at least light a candle for those who have passed. And you know, it's always the perfect opportunity to start new traditions. So hopefully the new normal will be giving you more of those new traditions that you can have with your family and loved ones. So again, for this afternoon, as I mentioned kanina, I'm super excited because it's going to be filled with a lot of learning, and it's super interesting because we will be talking about the various programs that the government has set up for the entrepreneurs. That's right, you heard me right. Kasi sayang din naman, diba, that all these programs, all these different things that the government has actually prepared for us are out there, but not a lot of us actually know about it. So this is why we are doing the webinar for this afternoon, for you guys to be aware of what's going on. And kung may mga aspiring entrepreneurs who are watching us today, those who have a business idea and they're just waiting to actually make that into a reality, consider this as a sign that, hey, it's time to get on your feet and start that entrepreneurship journey. And we are here with the DTI Region 7 to help you propel that path. So every entrepreneur, young or veteran, could use a little help, especially during this pandemic. So that is why we have invited various speakers from both the government and the private sector to talk about the different programs that you or the young entrepreneurs could actually listen to. And of course, like our previous webinars, after we listen to our panel of speakers, we will have a bit of sit down later, or a sofa session, to give us a chance to pick the brains of our speakers. Or if you guys have any questions, you may just comment them down below, and I'm going to be reading them later, because we are going to be sitting down with our speakers and we'll be having an interactive conversation with them. So please prepare your pen and paper and make sure to take down notes because this afternoon stuff is surely one for the books. Of course, before we proceed with our program, let us first get to know our speakers for this afternoon, and I'm very, very excited to learn from them. First, we have Mr. Kyle Adrian Durano, or he is the Informations Officer of DTI Cebu. We also have Nathaniel E. Amores, Field Operations Specialist, IP Fields Operations Unit, and he was also previously a Senior Business Counselor for DTI Negros Oriental Provincial Office in Dumaguete City. And lastly, we have Ms. Rose Tejero, the CPA Manager of Tax Global Compliance and Reporting of SGV. And of course, to teach us about the different government business support programs, we have Claire Clarez Esparza of the KMME. She is the KMME Program Manager of the DTI Region 7 or DTI Cebu. And lastly, we have Ms. Grace Cordona, the Licensing Officer of FDA 7. So, guys, ang dami nating mga speakers this afternoon. It just goes to show that you will be learning so many things. And now that we have our speakers for this afternoon, we are absolutely ready to kick off this webinar. Before we proceed to our very first speaker, let us first get to know the overview of DTI Region 7's YEP. Hooray! Yep, hooray. That's the name of the program. And it stands for Harnessing Our Own Resources for Advancement of the Youth. And we will be listening to Mr. Jerry Clavecillas, the DTI Director of Bureau of Small and Medium Enterprise Development. He'll be talking to us about Yep, hooray. So without further ado, I give you Mr. Jerry. Sir Jerry, come on, take it away.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So in behalf of the MSME Development Council, I will briefly give you the background of the Youth Entrepreneurship Program, or YEP, with an official tagline, Harnessing Our Own Resources for the Advancement of the Youth, or Hooray. So in Section 9 of the Republic Act number 10679, or the Youth Entrepreneurship Act of 2015, the MSME Development Council and DTI are designated as the responsible agencies for integrating youth entrepreneurship promotion into the national policies and programs in support of micro, small, and medium enterprise development. The same act provides for the formulation of national program to promote youth entrepreneurship development. And these are particularly the inclusion and promotion of youth entrepreneurship program in the MSME development plan, and the facilitating national programs to encourage youth entrepreneurship as part of a broader strategy to promote the viability and growth of enterprises in the country. So next slide, we can see here the Philippine population as projected by the Philippine Statistical Authority, that in 2022, the Philippine population will reach 110 million, and that about 29% of that population will be comprised of the youth. By the way, the youth is defined in the Philippines as those with an age ranging from 18 years old up to 30 years old. So this is now the focus of this particular intervention. Of course, we are saying that we are still open to anybody who is interested to become an entrepreneur by way of the various programs and services of the department. But for this particular initiative, we give preferential attention to the youth, which is now the sector that we want to really focus our intervention, because of the reason that biologically, this is the sector that will still last long in this universe to be able to provide and contribute to the economic development of our country. So we can also see here that half of the population is actually younger than 24 years old, or 24.5, and half of the population is older than 24.3 or 24.5, we can say. So meaning that 50% of the total population in 2015 is comprised of the youth. No? So this is really a potent sector to reckon with, because of the sheer number of this population that we are now trying to address, and develop to become entrepreneurs. In this slide, we can also see here that most of our youth population are confined to the National Capital Region as well as to Region 4A. Of course, first is Region 4A, followed by NCR, and then Region 3. But we are saying here that still the youth is a potent sector in almost all regions, so that we can focus this advocacy now on promoting their entrepreneurial capacity. So in this slide, we can see that the crafting of our youth entrepreneurship development program, we are also anchoring on the various legislative platform. So first, we have, of course, the this is not arranged sequentially, but we have our Philippine Development Plan for the current administration, that is 2017 to 2022, that recognizes the importance of employment and entrepreneurship in attaining our objectives in the Ambition Natin 2040 as laid out in our aspirations for a strongly rooted, comfortable, and secured life for Filipinos by the year 2040. So we also have our Republic Act 10644, or the Go Negosyo Act, that provides the establishments of the negosyo centers in all local government units. So meaning our entrepreneurs and potential entrepreneurs now will be able to access the various programs and services, not only of the government agencies, but even by our private sector partners in these negosyo centers, which is now more than 1,100 nationwide. So another one is, of course, our MSME development plan for this administration again, which identified youth entrepreneurship as one of its anchor programs to achieve the plan's goal. And in our Philippine Youth Development Plan also for this administration, the National Youth Commission has also outlined the contribution that can be made by the youth sector in the country. So we now have this youth entrepreneurship program, and this is now being participated by the various providers or enablers in the country that has something to do with the development of the sector. So we have national government agencies, we also have some private organizations and other institutions that are into the development of the youth as an entrepreneur. And the YEP's tagline, as we can see here, as I mentioned earlier, is hooray, which means that harnessing our own resources for the advancement of the youth. So meaning that every partner or enabler can contribute by way of whatever resources that they might have already, or whatever is the core service or program of that institution is something that they can contribute to this advocacy. So this is a focus program that addresses the young demographics of the country to become more productive individuals through entrepreneurship. And we have three components for this program. We have the Youth Start, the Youth Net, and the Youth Match, with the ending goal of improving the national development. The YEP components encourage upbeat actions towards strengthening economic independence among individuals and communities. Aimed at instilling entrepreneurship values among Filipino youth, it is composed of three components, as I mentioned already, this one. And they adopt the DTI 7M strategy for MSME development, namely the mindset change, that's the first M. Second is mastery. Third is mentoring. Fourth is money. Fifth is machines. And sixth is market access. And finally, models of business. So for the Youth Start, here, the Youth Start component focuses on mindset change and models of business of that 7M strategy that I mentioned earlier. So relevant cooperators or partners shall provide services to steer the entrepreneurial interest and encourage the youth to start their business ventures. Under this component, entrepreneurial mind-setting seminars or inspirational forum and basic services shall be provided through business registration assistance, business opportunity seminars, and entrepreneurship skills training. And the next is the Youth Net. For the Youth Net, we are saying here that networking shall be promoted among youth entrepreneurs through linking and encouraging them to be a member of business organizations. Participation in organizations we know will provide young entrepreneurs information on how other members were able to overcome startup challenges, develop innovative ideas, and find mentors from experts in their organizations. So this component focuses on developing mastery of business concepts and strategies, as well as providing mentoring support to young entrepreneurs. So that's the M that is under this component, the YouthNet, that is mastery as well as mentoring as part of our advocacy. And the last component is Youth Match. Matching highlights collaboration as an essential tool that enables youth entrepreneurs access to new resources which will bolster their businesses. This component will cover discussion on money, provision of machines, and market aspects of the 7M's framework. So the 7M's are aptly subsumed under these 3 components of our Young Entrepreneurs Program. Young entrepreneurs shall be engaged in various events, including business pitching sessions, business matching events, trade fairs, online marketplace listing, among others. So this shall serve as avenues to establish business linkages, develop synergies, and forge strategic partnership with financial business investors and suppliers that can help youth entrepreneurs stretch the boundaries of their business. Marketing promotion activities aim to help young entrepreneurs introduce and establish the brands of their products or services. Activities will include business trade fair events, participation, online marketplace listings, and assistance on production of audiovisual presentation. For the use of machines, appropriate machines such as the DTI shared service facilities may be referred to the beneficiaries to help them improve their productivity, thus providing them opportunity to target wide market and grow their business. So these are now the sectors under the youth category that we are aiming to assist as part of our beneficiaries. We have the youth organizations, those which are not in education and not in employment or training, meaning they are not doing anything productive. The in-school youth, those who are still studying, the youth with disability, and the indigenous youth. So these are now our focused beneficiaries under this program. But what I am saying earlier is that we can also still cover those outside of this identified priority beneficiaries. So for further information, our DTI Negosyo Centers nationwide can also be accessed by our potential entrepreneurs. So you may just visit any one of these Negosyo Centers, or otherwise you can contact DTI through our online contact details, and you can find out more services and other things that may be in store for you to become ultimately successful young entrepreneurs. So thank you very much, and a pleasant day to all of you.
All right, Sir Jerry, that was such an insightful talk, and that just goes to show how eager the Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI Region 7, is to invest in the entrepreneurial capabilities of the youth. So thank you so much for putting it all together for us. So to those aspiring young entrepreneurs who are watching us today, I hope that you were able to get inspiration from the talk that was just given to you today and make those business ideas you have inside you into a reality finally. So again, I've been saying it over and over since kanina. Now, if you guys have, or if any one of you are young entrepreneurs who would like to kick off your journey and you're looking for a sign, I think this is it. So I think sit back, relax, because we will really inspire you even more with our talks this afternoon to go ahead and start your entrepreneurial journey. And now it's time to talk about the basics of business. So if you are an aspiring entrepreneur, what are the things you should be keen about? What are the different terms that you must add to your vocabulary? So all of these basic things that you need to think about when you start your business, what are they? And we are very happy to have with us our first speaker, Mr. Kyle Adrian Durano, the Information Officer of DTI Cebu, who was also obviously a negosyo center senior business counselor who will be talking to us about the essentials of business registration. Hi, Kyle. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, and mayong hapon. Everyone is watching us live via Facebook and Zoom. Hi.
Hi, Kyle. So we're very happy that you're actually here with us this afternoon to give us a talk on the business essentials. Are you excited?
Yes, of course. Actually, we have been continuously promoting this, that we are engaging or encouraging everyone to do business, and especially to do the legal process of doing business. So I'm very excited, especially that this program is in line to the youth. So to the youth of my age, of the people the same age as mine, I'm very excited for them to be engaged in our talk and program.
All right, Kyle, if you're excited to teach us, we're also excited to learn from you. So at this point, without further ado, come on, Kyle, take it away. The floor is yours.
Early 2020, nations were trembled and disturbed by the COVID-19 strike. The government was even forced to augment its resources and reinforce restrictions on movements as part of the ways in combating the infectious disease. While some were forced to stay at home just to keep safe, some may have lost the opportunities to go out and may have lost their jobs. It cannot be denied that there are a population of people right now that has resorted to ways and ideas of generating income. And one way of that is by doing business. Today, I will be sharing to you the essentials of business registration, to include the DTI Business Name Registration, SEC Registration, Business or Mayor's Permit Registration, and the Barangay Micro Business Enterprise or BMPE. If you are planning a startup, then you should be registering it. Registering a business will give you benefits, protect your business, and secure your rights. Shown on screen right now is the business registration flow. To begin with, the business name registration. If you are under a sole proprietorship, then you should be registering with the Department of Trade and Industry or DTI. Should you be under a partnership, corporation, to include one-person corporation, then you should be registering with the Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC. Should you be under cooperative, then you should be registering with the Cooperative Development Authority or CDA. Next is the business permit or the mayor's permit. This is to ensure the payment of taxes and related fees to the city or municipality, as well as to regulate business activities for security, sanitary, safety, and propriety purposes. Lastly, with BIR, there are identified mandatory agencies and other certifications as required depending to your line of business. If we focus with the Department of Trade and Industry or the registering for the businesses under sole proprietorship, the question is, how do we do business in this time of pandemic? In a lockdown environment, there are both constraints and as well as opportunities to do business in a safe and innovative way. What we are trying to say is that we should not let the pandemic sap our entrepreneurial spirit. So, how can business owners register your business names without violating quarantine rules or putting your health at risk? At DTI, we are doing our best to facilitate the fruition of entrepreneurial ideas by providing the platform by which entrepreneurs can register their businesses without violating these rules. But the question is, how? The DTI has rolled out the web-based portal called the BNRS NextGen or the Business Name Registration System for easy and convenient registration. For instance, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of a new registration. So first, you should hover over the business name services and click the new registration. For existing entrepreneurs or DTI registered businesses, this may also include renewal, update of information, even cancellation. For new registrations, only Filipino citizens of at least 18 years old may register your business name. For the registration process, you will be asked for your details. Next is a selection of the territorial scope. This will pertain to the scope or coverage of the business and will also pertain to the payment or the fee. For instance, should you be falling under barangay, that will begin from 200 pesos and to the national level of 2,000 pesos plus 30 pesos documentary stamp tax. So what is a territorial scope? The territorial scope refers to the geographical area where you can open an office, store, branch, and manufacturing or processing plants. However, this does not restrict you from transacting business elsewhere. To put simply, if you are engaged in, for instance, online shop or online business, and you are thinking of doing the business right in the comforts of your home, you may register under the barangay. However, that does not restrict you to have customers in far-flung areas other than the registered barangay. Next, you will be asked to input your proposed business name. The business name is composed of a dominant name and the business name descriptor. For instance, a dominant name is a noun, a combination of names or letters and numbers, or even words or terms that may establish the unique identity of your business. The business name descriptor will pertain to the actual line of business falling under the PSIC, or the Philippine Standards Industrial Classification for the lines of business. For instance, a complete business name is Maria Online Shop. Maria should be the dominant name, and Online Shop should be the business name descriptor. To check the name availability, you should check this option, and then there will be a matrix that will be shown if your business name is approved or not. Once your business name proposal is approved, there will be a reference code that will be prompted and will be used throughout all the process of this registration. And next of that, you will be filling out the other details in the registration form to include the residential address, contact information, and even the capitalization, asset, and so forth. Given that you have been going through the process successfully, you should always ensure that all data provided are correct and valid, especially the email address where all the application process may rely to, since this is where you can confirm all the inputs that you have been doing, and then you could also download your certificates using your email address. Should you be proceeding with the application, you will be paying the fee using our e-payment partners that include GCash, PayMaya, debit or credit card, or even the DTI teller. Once payment is successful, you can download your certificate of business name registration sent to your email address that you have provided. Not all business name proposals may be approved. So you may wonder, why are some business names that you have submitted may be rejected? Your proposed business name might contain words that cannot be registered. For instance, those that are unlawful, immoral, scandalous, or contrary to the propriety, or other names, words, or terms, or expressions used to designate or distinguish, or suggestive of quality of any class of goods, articles, merchandise, products, or service, such as the word best for best food house, or first class for first class vulcanizing. Or those businesses that are similar to existing registered business names, or trademarks or service marks, but you have just created a change in spelling. However, you are hearing the same name. For instance, An Doxlection, or the Starbucks coffee, or those that are inimical to the security of the state. Or maybe your proposal may be composed of purely generic words such as the drugstore. There is no dominant name established in that proposal. Or those proposals that are restricted or cannot be appropriated by law or regulation. Or those that are used by government in its non-proprietary functions and names or abbreviations of the nation, intergovernmental, and international organization. One reason for rejection for your proposal is that those words or terms that the regular court or declared by administrative agencies that may not be registered. You may only use the names of other persons but not the complete name with first name and family name that may so establish that the ownership of the business is some other person. And then those words or terms that are deceptive, misleading, or one that misrepresents the actual nature of business. For instance, gold construction, where the nature of business is recruitment. Your business name registration certificate is valid for 5 years from the date of registration. and may be renewed even online. For further questions, inquiries, please email us at bnrshelpdesk@dti.gov.ph. For the Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC registration, these are those who are engaged for partnership, corporations, or to include the one-person corporation or the OPC. Just like the DTI, the SEC has rolled out a web-based portal for the registration that is made easy. The SEC, as a corporate register of domestic companies and foreign corporations doing business in the Philippines, takes pride to be in the forefront of introducing and implementing reforms by making business registration process simpler, faster, and more efficient, and even more transparent. So with the Company Registration System, or the CRS, this is the full automation and online pre-processing of corporations and partnerships, licensing of foreign corporation, amendments of articles of incorporations or AIs, and other corporate applications requiring their approval. This means that some applications may be pre-done online and shall be accomplished manually on their offices. The CRS features include online verification of company name, online appeal for disallowed proposed name, online fill-out of AIs and bylaws or BL, with built-in validation and the pre-form and in-form data encoding, online submission through uploading of documents for internal processing or evaluation, online issuance of deficiencies on submitted or uploaded applications, online assessment of filing fees, and online payment of fees. For further questions or inquiries, contact SEC Cebu Extension Office through 032-416-9339 or email them at seccebu@sec.gov.ph. As mentioned in the earlier part of this presentation, the business permit is required to ensure the payment of the taxes and related fees to the city or municipality, as well as to regulate business activities for security, sanitary, safety, and propriety purposes. So I will be sharing to you some processes of the business permit registration in Cebu City. For the steps in registration, first is the evaluation and assessment. To begin with, filling out of the application form, there is a unified application form for all processes. The business name certificate or the DTI certificate or the SEC certification along with the AIs with secretary certificate. Next are financial documents, especially for those who are renewing their registrations. For renewal, you should also bring your old business permit. An original barangay business clearance with official receipt will also be required. Certificate of property holdings if you are engaged in leasing. Real property tax clearance if the building or the place is owned. And contract of lease if you are renting. Step 2 is the payment of the process. Pay taxes and fees due and comply the regulatory requirements. For new applications, after payment, you should wait for the inspection of the joint inspection team. For the payments, to begin with the business tax, that should be 0.005% of your capitalization. The permit fee is 0.002% of capitalization, minimum of 75 pesos and maximum of 1,000 pesos. Zoning fee is maximum of 550 pesos. Office of the building official or the OBO is minimum of 476 pesos. Sanitary fee is 200 pesos. And for the fire inspection, is the 100th of 1% or the 0.10% of the assessed value of buildings or structures annually payable upon payment of the real estate tax, except on structures used as single-family dwellings. Next is the verification and the release of your permit. All requirements in Step 1 and Step 2 must be complied. Community Tax Certificate or the CTC of business and employees, sanitary permit, fire safety inspection certificate, occupational permit, season road certificate, joint inspection report for the new applications, and other requirements as may be required by the joint inspection team and or verifier depending on the nature of business. So this may look like the unified application form for your business permit application. For further questions, inquiries, please contact Cebu City Business Processing and Licensing Office through telephone numbers 032-255-6983 or 253-2703 or go to their website, that is cebucity.gov.ph. Finally, to conclude my presentation is the Barangay Micro Business Enterprise or the BMBE. This is under RA 9178 or the BMBE Act of 2002. This is for incentives and benefits for enterprises engaged in production, processing, manufacturing, trading, just as so services that are not under professional licenses, that your total assets are not more than 3 million pesos exclusive of land. Your incentives and benefits will include income tax exemption, minimum wage exemption, special credit window to government financial institutions, and business development service from different government agencies. For business applications for BMBE, you may go to the nearest negosyo centers in your areas. We have now 31 negosyo centers in Cebu that may provide business registration assistance, business advisory services, business information and advocacy, monitoring, and evaluation. The negosyo centers promotes the ease of doing business and facilitate access to services for the micro, small, and medium enterprises. Once again, this has been DTI Cebu Provincial Office. Connect with us on our Facebook page, that is facebook.com/dti.cebu. You may also send us your emails through r07.cebu@dti.gov.ph. You may also call us on our telephone numbers 032-255-6971, 255-2165, or 255-3926. Text us on our mobile hotline, that is 0917-818-8419, and our office is located at Causing Losada Building, corner Osmeña Boulevard and Lapu-Lapu Street, Cebu City.
Yay! Daghang salamat, Kyle, for that very, very informative talk. I don't know about you guys, but when he shared to us all the processes that we have to go through to open a business, it's not that difficult. So if you are an aspiring entrepreneur out there, go ahead and get yourselves registered. Or if you know anyone who would actually want to start their business journey, tag them in the comment section below. Go let them know that we have more talks this afternoon and they have to really start their entrepreneurial journey already. So Kyle, thank you so much for that very insightful talk. And I'll see you later on for our sofa chat, and we'll have more details of what you just talked about later. All right. So to talk about the intellectual property basics, we have another speaker, and we'd like to welcome Nathaniel E. Amores, who was previously a senior business counselor for DTI Provincial Office in Dumaguete, and now is a field operations specialist of the IT Field Operations Unit. Hi, Sir Nat.
Yes, Miss Bea, good afternoon. To all our live viewers, also good afternoon.
Yes. So, sir, we're very excited to know more about intellectual property basics. But before that, are you excited to actually inspire all our viewers this afternoon?
Yes. As we all know, IP protection is not that famous or popular if you engage into business. So that's why I'm very also happy that I was part of this webinar session to inspire also our MSMEs.
That's right. And I really think nga daghan pud kami nga naminaw this afternoon, or a lot of us who are listening this afternoon, are excited to learn from you as well. So, Sir Nathaniel, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. To all our live viewers, and also to our IP partners and advocates, to the organizers of this webinar session, a pleasant good afternoon to you all. Now, this afternoon, I will be sharing with you the basic information about intellectual property rights. What are the different functions and services of intellectual property rights? Now, to start, let me share to you first my outline of my presentation. First, I'm going to discuss the IPO field overview, and then what is intellectual property, what are the different types of IP, why we should promote and protect intellectual property rights, and how to file for an IP protection. Okay. So just to give you an overview of our office, the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines is the lead agency implementing the rules and regulations protecting the intellectual property rights in the Philippines. So our legal basis, we are created by the virtue of Republic Act 8293 or the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines, which was signed into law on June 6, 1997 and took effect the following year, January 1, 1998 under the presidency of Fidel V. Ramos. And of course, with certain provisions amended by the RA 10372. Okay, so this is our Director General. He assumed office last December 2019. Now, prior to his appointment as the Director General of the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, he was the Undersecretary of the Office of the Secretary of the Department of Trade and Industry, where he supervised the offices under it, namely the Foreign Trade Service Corps, the Construction Industry Authority of the Philippines, or the CIAP, and its implementing boards. So, namely, the Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board, the Construction Industry Accreditation Commission, or the CIAC, the Philippine Overseas Construction Board, the Philippine Domestic Construction Board, and the Construction Manpower Development Foundation, and the Legal Service and Internal Audit Service at the DTI Head Office. So what are the different functions of IPO field? So first, IPO field grants patents, specifically inventions, utility models, industrial designs, and also we register trademarks or service mark for your brand and logos. Now, we also accept copyright recordation and deposit for literary works and artistic works, facilitate technology transfer arrangement by which one party transfers to another party the knowledge for the manufacture of a product, the application of process or rendering of a service, which may involve the transfer, assignment, or licensing of the intellectual property rights. Now, we have also this IP adjudication and mediation, so which resolve cases of IP disputes through mediation. Now, we have also the newly created office, the IP Enforcement Office, which implements administrative enforcement function, exercise visitorial powers to establishment and businesses engaging in activities violating intellectual property rights. CMO accreditation. So what is CMO accreditation? Accreditation of collective management organizations, similar to PhilSCAP for the musicians and singers, and among others. And then lastly, we have also this patent search, mapping, and analytics. So we also offer commercial patent search and patent analytics to institutions, businesses, and to local industries through providing expertise in the analysis of patent data and patent activity in a given field of technology. So we are also accessible nationwide. Now, as part of IPO Field's goal, which is to increase IP awareness, appreciation, and respect, and to bring IPO Field's services in the countryside, IP satellite offices were established in different regions around the country. So this is in partnership with the Department of Trade and Industry, since we are an attached agency of DTI. So MSMEs, investors, creators can contact or go to these IP satellite offices, where usually or all of our IP satellite offices are stationed or located at the DTI regional, and some are in DTI provincial offices around the country. So as of today, we have a total of 16 IP satellite offices. So we have from up north, Baguio City, and then down south to General Santos City. So what are the different services that you could avail in the satellite office? Well, basically, we accept and assist in IP filings for patents, trademarks, and copyrights. We also offer free IP consultation services. Then we conduct trainings and seminars in promoting intellectual property rights, like what we are doing right now. We also assist in post-filing activities of all IP filed applications. And then lately, we also accept any IP violations complaints or reports. Okay. So what is intellectual property? Now, according to WIPO is actually the World Intellectual Property Organization. So intellectual property refers to the creation of the mind. It could be inventions, literary and artistic works, symbols, names, and images used in commerce. Now, just like any other properties like house, our lots, cars, or even our personal and private property, the owner is free to use it as he wishes, and then provided that the use is not against the law, to exclude others from using it or let others use it in consideration of a piece, or we call it a royalties. No? Now, the term intellectual property is reserved for types of property that result from the creations of human mind, or we simply call it the intellect or the human brain. Now, it could be the brand, names, logos, and slogans, inventions, and innovations, and even literary and artistic works. Now, what are the different types of intellectual property rights? So we have two major types of intellectual property rights. First, we have the industrial property rights, and the other one is the copyright and related rights. So under industrial right, again, we have trademarks, service marks, geographical indications, trade secrets, patents, industrial designs, and utility models. Now for copyright and other related rights, this includes all literary works and artistic works. But this afternoon, due to time constraint, I will only be discussing the three most popular or most common intellectual property rights. So we have this patent, trademarks, and copyrights. Now, let me remind you that these three terms are commonly used interchangeably. Now, sometimes people would say that akong ipapatent ang akong logo, or akong ipa-trademark ang akong kanta, or even akong ipa-copyright ang akong slogan. Now, we will be defining these three terms to make some clarifications of its definition and its function. Okay? So first, we have this trademark. So trademark, actually, this is the most common and most visible type of intellectual property rights. So trademark is any visible sign capable of distinguishing the source of goods or services from one entity from those of others. So it can be a group of words or word, sign, symbol, slogan, or a combination of the above mentioned. Now we have this some famous brands here as an example. Now, registration of it gives the owner the exclusive right to prevent others from using it or exploiting the mark in any way. Now, for the terms of protection, for trademark, the protection is 10 years, renewable every 10 years as long as you are still using the mark in commerce. Now, the next type of intellectual property is what we call as patent. So what is patent? Now, patent is a temporary exclusive right granted to an inventor over a product or a process that provides any technical solution to a problem in any field of human activity. So take note. So before your invention or can be considered as or can be registered for patent, it must possess the three major requirements. First, it should be novel, meaning to say it never been published or never been published in anywhere, in any form, anywhere in the world. Second, it must have to be with inventive steps, meaning to say not obvious to a person's skill of the art, or with industrial applicability. So these three terms must be present, no, so that your invention can be protected under patent. So like for example, this is a sustainable lamp. This lamp uses salt or salt water to light the bulb. So this was invented by Miss Isa Mihino. This invention or her invention actually received multiple awards, not only here in the Philippines, but also in some other countries. Okay. So for patent, terms of protection is 20 years without renewal, meaning to say after 20 years, your patent application is now open to public, or it could be a public domain after the expiration of the terms of protection. Okay, so the other one is the copyright. Now, what is copyright? It is the legal protection extended to the owner of the rights in an original work, the literary and artistic works. So this includes books or any writings, songs, films, paints, any literary and artistic works. So terms of protection. So for copyright, term of protection is very long. Life of the author plus 50 years after death. So that's why we can hear some of the top earning dead celebrities, no? Like for example, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, who else? Marilyn Monroe, or even Bob Marley. So those are examples of dead earning celebrities because of royalties under copyright. Okay. Now, why we should promote and protect intellectual property rights? There are a lot of compelling reasons why we should protect and consider intellectual property rights. First, there are several compelling reasons. First is the progress and well-being of humanity rests on its capacity to create and invent new works in the areas of technology and culture. Second, the legal protection of the new creation encourages the commitment of additional resources for further innovation. Now, third, the promotion and protection of intellectual property spurs economic growth, creates new jobs and industries, and enhances the quality and enjoyment of life. So it is very important actually to protect your intellectual property rights. So how to file your intellectual property rights? Now for patent, you can actually apply it online. Just visit our website www.ipofil.gov.ph and then go to services and then choose e-invention file. So right there, you can see some of the procedures on how you're going to apply for a patent online. Or if you would like to file it manually, you can contact our satellite offices or our partners, the DTI negotiation centers, for your further assistance. Now for the payment, now since we are online, our mode of payment is through Dragon Pay or online bankings or PayPal, or also we have this GCash, no? GCash, or and lately we have also credit card. We also now accepting credit cards. Okay. Now for copyright, actually I think it's not yet the e-services is not yet completed, but you can also apply it online via sending your applications through their official email address, the copyright@ipofil.gov.ph. So, or you can also submit manually. Again, you can visit any of our satellite offices or the DTI negotiation centers for further assistance. Now, same with the patents, our payment are also online. Now for trademark, the same thing with patents. Just go to our website, www.eservices, www.ipofil.gov.ph, and then go to eServices, and then choose ETM file. So from there, there's a video on how you're going to process your trademark application online. Or you can also contact any of our satellite offices or the DTI negotiation centers, so that we can help assist you in filing your trademark applications. And then our payment is also online through Dragon Pay, LBC, 7-Eleven, Cebuana, or any buy centers nationwide. And then we have also through credit cards, online bankings, GCash, what else? PayPal, and lately also we also now accepting credit cards for the online payment. Okay. Now, We also have online services for IP filings. Let's say the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines launched its first mobile applications. We call this one the IPO File Mobilis. So giving creators and innovators an easier way to secure their intellectual property rights. So you can download this application via Google Play, or via App Store. Now, IPO Field Mobilis facilitates all IPO field services. Now, from filing to registration and raising reports or complaints against trademark infringement. Okay, so it is very easy now to file for any IP applications, or even sending IP complaints, IP violation complaints using our IPO Field Mobilis app. So I think that ends my presentation. For more info about IP, or for more on IP consultation services, you can contact me or any IP satellite offices near you. So here I will going to flash this the field operations specialist of the 16 IP satellite offices. So you can reach us through Messenger or through our Facebook page, or you can send us email, or simply by texting our official contact number. So again, thank you so much. Stay safe and stay away from COVID-19. Thank you and God bless.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Nathaniel, for that very, very insightful talk. I'm pretty sure that a lot of us has learned so many things from you this afternoon, and I do hope that our viewers and our attendees have actually taken some notes, because all the information we just listened to will come in handy once we start our entrepreneurial journey. But don't worry, if you have more questions that you might realize later on IP, just write them down, or maybe you can put it in the comment section below, because we are going to be having a sofa talk later, and I will be reading your questions to our speakers. Time check, it is 2:58 in the afternoon, and I'm pretty sure we've learned so many things already. But wait, there's more. We have our next speaker here this afternoon, and she is the manager of Tax Global Compliance and Reporting of SGV. She also has 8 years of experience in tax compliance and tax advisory services under her belt. To give us a talk on basic taxes in the Philippines, please welcome our speaker, Ms. Rose T. Tejerero, a CPA. Hello, Miss.
Hi, Bea. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. I'm super excited to listen to your talk, because sometimes a lot of people say when they start the journey, ma-allergic yun og tax, no? But I'm pretty sure that you have prepared for us a talk that will give us a new perspective on basic taxes. Ikaw, Miss Rose, how are you?
Well, I'm delighted to be here today, no, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank Department of Trade and Industry for inviting me here.
All right. So we're also very happy to have you. And so far, the sessions we had this afternoon has been very, very insightful. So I'm not going to delay this even further. Miss Rose, go ahead. Take it away.
Hi, good afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well amidst this pandemic. So I'm Rose Tejerero, a tax director from SGB. So thank you for this opportunity to share with you some of the relevant taxes that are applicable to you when you put up a business. So tax is a significant cost of our business. So as a young entrepreneur, it's important for you to keep up with recent top tax developments, as well as to have a clear understanding of your tax obligations. So allow me to share with you these provisions under Article 3 of the Civil Code of the Philippines. So ignorance of the law excuses no one from compliance therewith. So based on this, we really need to be aware of our tax obligations, no? And there are actually several reasons why this is important. So first, of course, the more obvious reason is for us to be able to comply with the relevant tax rules and regulations. Second, is for us to be able to effectively plan on how we can legitimately or legally minimize our tax costs and maximize our tax savings. The third reason is for us to avoid the possible imposition of interest and penalties for non-compliance. So these are actually unnecessary cost of our business, no, which we can actually avoid had we know clearly our tax obligations. Then lastly, which is I guess the worst case scenario, no, is the this non-compliance with the tax rules and regulation could actually lead to possible closure of business. So of course we want to avoid that that from happening, no. So for this afternoon, I want to share with you some of these taxes that may be relevant to you and your business now. So I'm going to discuss about individual income tax, business taxes, which is the value-added tax and percentage tax, and as well as those other taxes that may be applicable to you. Now, before we proceed to that, let me share with you this sample certificate of registration and its significance. No? So, if you have successfully registered with the BIR will issue a certificate of registration to you. So this is a very important piece of paper, for it will tell you which tax type you are obligated to file with the BIR. So in my example here, the taxpayer here is required to file income tax, value-added tax, expanded withholding tax, registration fees, as well as withholding tax on wages. Now, perhaps you might be wondering, no, na, what if you just started your own business and wala ka pang employees, no? And you are currently doing everything on your own. So perhaps the question that will pop up in your mind is that if you are required to file a withholding tax and wages return. So the answer to that question will depend on what type of tax is indicated in your certificate of registration. No? So if the withholding tax on wages is indicated in your certificate of registration, you are required to file a withholding tax on wages return, even though you are not yet providing any compensation or salaries and benefits to individuals which may be construed as your employees. However, take note that you are not obligated to pay any withholding tax on wages to the BIR, assuming, of course, that you still have no employees, no? You just need to indicate in the related tax return, or the amount that you will indicate in the related tax return is 0 or nil, no? Okay, so let's proceed now to our first type of tax, which is individual income tax. Now, income tax is a tax imposed on your income. With respect to this, what we need to remember is that if you are a resident citizen, you are taxable on all your income from within, your taxable income from within and outside the Philippines. No. However, if you are a non-resident citizen or you are an alien, you are only taxable on your income from sources within the Philippines, no? Okay, so for purposes of computation of income tax of individual, we actually have 3 classification of or types of individual, no? So first is the pure compensation income earner. So these are those individual who derive income under an employer-employee relationship. Then the second category or classifications is individual earning income purely from business or from the practice of their profession, such as doctors, accountants, and lawyers. No? And then the third classification, which is a mixed income earners. So these are a mixture of the first and the second classification. No? So why do we need to discuss this, no, to know this, no? So this is actually significant because this will determine your taxability, no? Okay. Okay, so if you are a compensation income earner, for example, you will be subject to graduated income tax rate. Okay, so what does graduated income tax rates means? So this means that the higher the taxable income, the higher the tax rate will be. In this case, no, if you can see in the table, no, if your taxable income is 250,000 and below, you will actually be exempted from income tax, no. However, if your taxable income is above 250,000, then you will be subject to graduated income tax rates. Now, for instance, if your taxable income is between 250,000 and 400,000, so to compute for your income tax payable, you just need to multiply the excess of your taxable income over 250,000 pesos multiplied by 20%. No? So that's is for the individual income earner earning purely compensation income. Now we go on to the second classification, which is individual earning income purely from business or practice of profession. Now, in determining the tax rates applicable to business income earner, you need first to determine the estimated gross sales and other non-operating income during the year. No, so if you are earning income, or if your gross sales or receipts exceed the VAT threshold, which is 3 million, you will be subject to graduated income tax rates and value-added tax. On the other hand, if your gross sales or receipts does not exceed 3 million, then you actually have two options. No? So it's either you will be subject to graduated income tax rates, which is based on your taxable income, or you can opt to be subject to 8% special income tax rate, which is based on your gross sales. No? So take note that the basis of these rates are actually different. No? So under the graduated income tax rate, you are taxed based on your taxable income. So it means that gross sales less any deductions. While in under 8% special income tax rates, you are taxed based on your gross sales or receipts in excess of the 250,000 allowable deductions. Note also that this option is available only to non-VAT registered taxpayers. So if your income, let's say, is less than, or your gross sale is less than 3 million, but you opted to be registered as a VAT registered taxpayer, then you can no longer of this option. No? You can no longer be subjected to this 8% special income tax rate. No? Because this is, as I mentioned, this is only available to non-VAT registered taxpayer. And by the way, the 8% special income tax rate is actually in lieu of income tax and percentage tax. So if you are subject to 8% income tax rate, you are no longer subject to percentage tax, which we will discuss later on. No? Okay. So the third classification is a mixed income earner. No, so as I mentioned, if you are if you derive income from compensation, you will be subject to graduated income tax rate. However, if you're on with respect to your income from business or profession, you will be subject to either graduated income tax rate or the 8% income tax rates, depending on your gross sales or receipts during the year. No. Okay. So for you to have a better appreciation, so let's have an example. No. Okay. So in 2019, Maginoo, a sole proprietor, has an annual gross sales of 1.5 million, a cost sales of 500,000, and an operating expenses of 250,000. So by the way, cost sales are those expenses which you can directly attribute to the productions or rendering of your service, no, to the production of goods and rendering of service, no. While operating expense are those indirect expense, no, like for example rentals. Okay, so for this example, the question now is what is his tax due and payable using the annual income tax table? Yeah, so the graduated income tax rates, no? So based on the data provided to us, the taxable income of Maginoo is 750,000, which is computed by deducting the cost sales and the operating expenses against the annual gross sales of 1.5 million. Now, how do we derive the income tax payable of Maginoo under the graduated income tax rates? So, based on this, his taxable income is 750,000. So it's actually between 400 and 800,000. So, to arrive at his income tax payable during the year, so we get the 30,000 basic amount and then multiply the excess of 750,000 over 400,000 to 25%, we get 87,500. So we get the sum of the basic amount and the excess. So we get the 117,500. So Maginoo is subject to income tax due and payable amounting to 117,500 during the year if we use the graduated income tax rates. Now, assuming same figures, can Maginoo avail of the 8% special income tax rate? So the answer to this question actually depends on his VAT registration. As I mentioned earlier, if Maginoo registered as a VAT registered taxpayer despite his income or gross sales does not exceed the VAT threshold of 3 million, then he cannot be subject to the 8% special income tax rate. However, if Maginoo opted to be registered as a non-VAT registered taxpayer, then he can avail the 8% special income tax rate. Now, to compute for his taxable income using the special income tax rate, we multiplied the 8% to the excess of the gross sales over 250,000, so we get 100,000 pesos. Okay, so if we compare Maginoo's income tax payable under the special income tax regime and the graduated rates, actually Maginoo is better off if he opted to be registered as a non-VAT registered taxpayer, since he can opt to be taxed under the 8% special income tax rate. So in this case, if he is registered as a non-VAT taxpayer, he actually would save 17,500, as an so he will actually save 17,500. So the question now is, how will you apply this knowledge to your business? So based on experience, most individuals who are engaged in the practice of their profession opts to avail the 8% special income tax rate. So why? Because they usually expect that their business expenses will not be significant during the year. So remember, graduated rates is based on taxable income, meaning gross sales less allowable deductions, while the 8% special income tax rates is based only on your gross sales. So most service-oriented entities would sometimes prefer to be registered under the 8% special tax regime. So if you expect your expenses to be significant during the year, you may consider availing the graduated rate, especially if your gross sales does not exceed the 3 million, and you are a non-VAT registered taxpayer. The keywords here, as I mentioned, is may consider. So I'm not saying with absolute certainty that your income tax payable will be lower under the graduated rates if your expenses are significant. Of course, you still have to run the numbers. You need to simulate and compare. So that's the importance, of course, of the tax planning. So next we'll discuss and another type of tax, which is value-added tax or percentage tax. So VAT and percentage tax is a business tax imposed and collected from the seller in the course of trade or business. So remember that you can't be charged with both taxes at the same times, no? At the same time, no? So it's either value-added tax or percentage tax. Okay, so I actually introduced this a while ago, this concept, no? That if your gross sales on if your gross sales or receipts on sale of goods and services does not exceed or exceeds 3 million VAT threshold, then you are required to be registered as a VAT registered supplier. And therefore, your sales transaction will be subject to 12% VAT. On the other hand, if your sales transaction does not exceed 3 million VAT threshold, then again you have the option to be registered as a VAT registered supplier or as a non-VAT registered supplier. And in which case, if you're a non-VAT registered supplier, you will be subject to 3% tax, no? Okay. So, by the way, so the taxpayer needs to signify his option to be registered as a VAT registered or as a non-VAT registered during his business registration. So this option will be irrevocable unless the taxpayer updated his business registration. So note also that if you initially registered as a non-VAT supplier, you are required to update your registration with the BIR when you expect your sale to exceed the VAT threshold. Okay. Okay, so for better appreciation again, so let's have an example now. So for example, you have revenue from sale of goods amounting to 1 million. No? So if you are registered as a VAT registered supplier, then your gross sales, which is in this case is 1 million, will be subject to 12% VAT. VAT is actually an indirect tax, no, which means that you can actually pass it on to your customer. No, so if it's a sales transaction, the right term to use is output VAT, no. Okay, so if you are registered, on the other hand, as a non-VAT registered supplier, and therefore your sales transaction is subject to 3% tax, the tax due on your sales transaction will be computed by multiplying the 1 million to 3%. No? So in this case, the tax due of, in our example, under the 3% tax is 30,000. Now, of course, the computation, note that the computation of your VAT liability does not end here, no? So, as I mentioned earlier, VAT is an indirect tax which can be passed on by the supplier to his customer. So, your supplier can actually pass on your supplier actually can also pass on input VAT on your purchase transaction of goods and services. So if you are the one selling the goods and services, the VAT passed on to the customer is called output VAT. On the other hand, with respect to your purchases, your supplier also can pass on input VAT to you, or VAT to you. So the right term there is called input VAT. No? So if we extend our example, no? So let's say you have purchase of raw materials amounting to 900,000. No? So in our computation earlier, no, this input tax passed on by your supplier you can actually use it as tax credits against your output VAT liability. So in this case, your output VAT of 120,000 will be reduced by the input VAT passed on by your supplier. So that's on your purchases transaction. So that's 900,000 multiplied by 12%. So your net output VAT payable to the BIR is actually only 12%, as opposed to your VAT liability or your percentage tax liability, which is 30,000. No? So So in this case, while input VAT passed on purchases of goods and services cannot be used not to reduce your percentage tax due of 30,000, note that you can actually claim this as deduction for income tax purposes. No, so the input VAT on your purchases transaction, if you are a VAT registered taxpayer, can be used as a tax credit against your output VAT liability. However, if you are a non-VAT registered supplier, the input tax passed on by your supplier to you can be deducted as is allowable as deduction for income tax purposes. No. So so the question now is, how do you decide whether to register as a VAT taxpayer or as a non-VAT taxpayer? Now, the best way to answer which tax structure you should choose is to compute for the total tax cost involved under VAT and non-VAT. No? So it's actually, there's no, I don't know, straight answer to that. You really need to run the numbers and simulate. Okay. So next, so I'll discuss now the other taxes, but I will not be discussing this in detail, no, because we just have a limited time, no. So okay, so first is expanded withholding tax, no. So expanded withholding tax is a tax imposed on your purchase transactions. So this is actually a means of collecting income tax in advance by the BIR. So for example, you pay a monthly rental, no? You are a lessee and you pay a monthly rental to the lessor. Now, rental expense is actually subject to 5% expanded withholding tax. Now, remember, the monthly rental is an expense to you, but an income to the lessor. So you are actually constituted by the BIR as a withholding agent, no? So instead of you paying the entire 100,000 to your lessor, you will only pay 95,000 pesos, and the remaining 5,000, or the EWT part of it, will be remitted to the BIR. So here you are actually constituted as a withholding agent. Okay, so next is withholding tax on wages. So it's actually similar with EWT, no, or expanded withholding tax. The main difference is just that in EWT, you are withholding on your purchase transactions, while in withholding tax on wages, you are withholding on the income of your employees. No? So basically, your employees will just receive their net pay, which is net already of the withholding tax on wages. So you as an employer has an obligation to remit the withholding tax on wages of the said employees to the BIR. Okay, next is documentary stamp tax. So this is actually imposed upon document, instrument, loan agreements, etc. No? So if you have debt instrument, you executed debt instrument, rental agreement. So these are actually subject to DST, no? Which may vary depending on the nature. So the rates of the DST will vary depending on the nature. Okay, next is real property tax. No? So RPT, by the name itself, is a tax imposed on your real property. So this is paid to the local government. No? And the basis of this is, this actually computed based on the assessed value of your property multiplied by 1%. So the assessed value of your property is actually the fair market value of the property, or the amount indicated in the tax declaration, whichever is higher. Next is local business tax. So local business tax is imposed on your gross sales. No? So LBT rates may vary also depending on the municipality or the LGU or the local government unit, no? So the rate also may vary, as I mentioned, depending on the municipality you are in. No? So this is paid to the local government. So the expanded withholding tax, the withholding tax on wages, and the documentary stamp tax are actually national taxes remitted to the BIR, while the RPT and the LBT are remitted to the government, to the local government rather. Okay, so for the BIR compliance, no, with respect to filing of tax returns, so again, since I only have limited time to discuss, I just indicated here, or I just want to share with you, on how you can be familiarized with different BIR forms and deadlines applicable to you. So when you actually go to the BIR website, they actually list down all the tax returns that are applicable to the taxpayers, and they actually listed also there that the description per tax returns, per BIR form. So you can just access that when you file a return. The BIR also indicated in their website the different deadlines for tax returns every month. So it's really easy na to comply with their rules naman na, because most of this naman are available in their website. Okay, so in case you have any questions with respect to what we have discussed, you can just email me or send me a message, or you can actually chat your questions in the chat box, and we will address that later on. So yeah, so I guess that would be all, and that would be the end of my presentation. Thank you again for listening, and see you later.
This is what happens when we are on live shows now. I'm just really, really excited to have learned from Miss Rose once again. Thank you so much for that very awesome talk and very insightful talk. Grabe, I was super happy to be enlightened about that side of business that not a lot of people think about. But hopefully, our listeners and viewers today have learned a thing or two about basic taxes, and again, would inspire you to kick off that entrepreneurial journey that you have been putting on the shelf for a long, long time. Again, Miss Rose will be joining us later for the sofa talk. So if you have any questions for her, go ahead and put it in the comment section, or you can also send it over in the webinar link, the room that you're in right now, so I can read on them later on. Time check, it is 3:30 in the afternoon, and I'm learning so much, and I'm pretty sure that you are too. So it is now time to learn some more by bringing in our next speaker, who is the KMME Program Manager of DTI Cebu. Like our previous speaker earlier, she was also previously a Negosyo Center Senior Business Counselor, and she is here to talk about business support programs. Please help me welcome Ms. Claire Clarez Esparza. Ms. Claire?
Hi, Ms. Bea. Good afternoon, everyone, especially to our viewers and MSMEs.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us today. How I wish I could have met you physically, but we are still here doing the live show. But before we get onto your part of the program, Ms. Claire, I just really want to ask, when we say KMME, what does this mean?
Yeah, KMME stands for the Kapatid Mentor Me program. And I'm so excited also to share with every one of us listening via FB Live the programs and services of DTI. And I hope our MSMEs can avail our programs and services as well.
Ayun, Kapatid Mentor Me program. So aside from all the webinars that you're getting, aside from all these, I know I'm a receiver of DTI's mga, email marketing. They also have a mentorship program, guys. So Claire is here this afternoon to talk about that. So Claire, go ahead, take it away.
Thank you, Ms. Bea.
The Department of Trade and Industry is the executive department of the Philippine government tasked as the economic catalyst that enables innovative, competitive, job-generating, and inclusive businesses, as well as empowers consumers. The department's three main programs include Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises Development, Industry and Export Development and Investment Promotion, Consumer Education, and Protection Program. The department also envisioned a more inclusive and prosperous Philippines with employment and income opportunities for all. To forefront the vision of DTI is Trade Secretary Mon Lopez, heading the regional office of Central Visayas, our Regional Director, Nanette Arban, OIC Assistant Regional Director, Rosemary Quinonola, and OIC Provincial Director, Hope Milgar. The plan covers MSME sector, which is defined under the Republic Act 9501, or also known as the Magna Carta for MSMEs, as enterprises with an asset size, excluding the value of land, of up to 100 million pesos. As shown in the slide, we included here the number of employment since the available statistics from the Philippine Statistics Authority are still categorized according to the number of employees. We identified 5 strategic goals under this plan, namely, improved business climate for government mindset, improve access to finance for money, enhance management and labor capacities for mindset, mastery, and mentoring, improved access to technology and innovation for machines and models, and lastly, the improved access to market for market. At this point, we will be focusing the 3rd to 5th strategic goals of the MSME development plan. The mindset, mastery, and mentoring are falling under the plan's strategic goal number 3, the improved management and labor capacities. Through mindset, we help MSMEs to embrace the right and positive entrepreneurial attitude that will carry them through their vibrant entrepreneurial journey. With mastery, we teach MSMEs to master the knowledge and how-tos of entrepreneurship. And with the mentoring, we provide MSMEs with continuous guidance in partnership with private sector. One of the programs offered by the DTI is the Kapatid Mentor Me program. The KMME has been implemented since 2016 as a 10-module mentorship program that optimizes weekly face-to-face interactions between the mentors and the mentees with the key goal of boosting of entrepreneurial capacity of mentees through improved access to mentorship, money, and market, or what we call the 3 M's. With COVID-19 and pending lives and businesses all over the world, the Kapatid Mentor Me program becomes more relevant and necessary in virtual or digitalized form. Thus, the KMME Online is developed as a practical mechanism for the same mentorship modules to be used to propel MSMEs to survive and thrive in spite of the unprecedented setbacks that now confronts businesses of all types and sizes. It is also designed to integrate the money market encounter into the regular KMME program and is implemented in the new normal using the Zoom app, without compromising the safety of the stakeholders involved in the overall effectiveness of the program. The program generally aims to provide a platform for existing and aspiring entrepreneurs to learn and be inspired from the entrepreneurial journey of the mentors online, to be the channel for capacity building in an online platform using the KMME modules, to provide an avenue of business mentorship of waitlisted MSMEs across the regions, to enable MSMEs to be resilient through crisis, to inspire the MSEs to adopt their business models to the challenges of current times. The program is organized by DTI and the Philippine Center for Entrepreneurship, Go Negosyo, in partnership with the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, with a top caliber, highly respected and skilled entrepreneurship mentors or coaches from PCE and CCCI. The programs offers the following modules as presented in the slide. This year, the DTI Region 7 has conducted the KMME Online Batch 1 last October 13 with a total number of 39 graduates and also enrolled 44 mentees for the second batch of the program. How one can qualify and be enrolled in the program? The applicants must qualify the following criteria being set. First, he or she must be at least 18 years of age, must be a Filipino and a resident of Cebu, must be the owner, co-owner, or the partner of business. The mentees should be the successor of the business because the employees of the mentee are discouraged to participate since they may set up his or her competing businesses. Next, the business must be registered in DTI, SEC, or CDA and must present the latest mayor's permit and BIR registration. The business must also be operating for at least 1 year and has employees or manages a team, willing to attend the online session on specific schedules, and willing to enter in the contract of commitment. Lastly, the online mentees must have his or her own laptop or mobile device with strong internet connectivity and a headset. On machines and models of businesses, which falls under the strategic goal number 4 of the improved technology and innovation of the plan. For machines, we equip our MSMEs with the right tools and equipment to level up production and increase productivity, equipping them to upgrade technology and to boost productivity and competitiveness. With models of business, we give different businesses ideas to help aspiring entrepreneurs start building the next big thing, providing business ideas that new entrepreneurs can readily adopt to start businesses like direct selling, franchising, distributorship, and likes. One of the programs identified in the development plan is the Shared Service Facility Project, or the SSF. This is a flagship project of the Department of Trade and Industry that is aimed at improving MSME's productivity and efficiency through better access to technology. The SSF is a major component of DTI's MSME development plan and aims to improve the competitiveness of MSMEs by providing them with machinery, equipment, tools, systems, and knowledge under a shared system. Implemented with partners including NGOs, people's organizations, cooperatives, industry or trade associations, local government units, national government agencies, and the state universities and colleges. This also aims to accelerate the MSME's competitiveness through practical tools and training by helping them upgrade and upscale. Eligible SSF projects must address the processing and manufacturing gaps or bottlenecks of the industry cluster brought about by any of the following: absence of the needed facility, lack of capacity of an existing facility, lack of adequate technical and administrative services that will promote and facilitate the growth of MSME within the priority clusters. Second, it will increase the productivity and industry cluster in terms of product improvement, quality enhancement or marketability, price competitiveness, and conformity to standards. Third, it must support micro-enterprises with the priority industry clusters. And lastly, must improve the products of the One Town, One Product. The eligible SSF cooperators are the NGAs, NGOs, people organization, cooperatives, industry, trade, or business association, LGUs, state universities, colleges, technical vocational schools, and other similar government academic and training institutions. The criteria for the selection of operator must be willing to host and manage the SSF, must be capable of providing counterpart support in terms of suitable facilities to house the machinery and equipment, personnel, and working capital, and must be strategically located to service the beneficiaries of SSF. For the non-organization, people's organization, or cooperative, they must be registered by SEC, CDA, or any other appropriate agency which registers organization for purposes of establishing legal personality. Also, they must have a track record for facility costing of up to 1 million. The cooperator must be in existence for at least 2 years. Finally, the last M, or market access, falls under the strategic goal, improved access to market of the plan. Through market access, we help promote MSMEs products and link them to big companies in the global value and supply chain. This is also one way of linking our MSMEs to big companies or government as potential buyers of their products. It is also promoting e-commerce platform for direct reach to domestic and foreign buyers. The One Town, One Product is a program that promotes entrepreneurship and create jobs. Through OTOP, local chief executive of each city and municipality take the lead in identifying, developing, and promoting a specific product or services in the locality. It will also enable the localities and communities to determine or develop and promote products or services rooted in their localities. This is their own pride of place and are offerings where they can be the best at or best renowned for. The program has two major components and are generally defined as OTOP Next Gen as the supply side of the program. It refers to the package of assistance provided to capacitate the MSMEs. So this component is primarily the product development initiatives, training, referral, and others with the goal of leveling up the products in the areas of design, quality, volume, and among others. So these components addresses the mindset change and mastery entrepreneurship. While the OTOP.ph or OTOP Philippines Hub, this is the demand side of the program. This provides the physical and online channels and market access platforms where OTOP products via product development are showcased on a day-to-day basis. This addresses the market side of entrepreneurship. An MSME can avail of the program if he or she is selling the product for at least 1 year and must have a minimum viable product. Next, must be committed to expanding production capacity duly verified by DTI, and must have at least filed a registration papers like DTI, SEC or CDA registration, business permit with BIR. Next, the products must have cultural and traditional value inherent to the locality, like the pride of place. Supply of raw materials or skills must be in abundance in the locality. And lastly, the products must carry a narrative or has intergenerational value.
We're live. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Ms. Claire, for that very enlightening talk. So sorry about the technical difficulty, but you know how it is. The show must go on, and we're just very, very excited to be learning so many things during this program that DTI Region 7 has especially prepared for us this afternoon. And it's so heartwarming to know that there are a lot of government activities and programs that support local businesses that are readily available for young entrepreneurs. So thank you so much, Claire, for shedding a light on that. And we'll be hearing more from you soon later when we actually have our sit-down sofa talk. And at this point, our next speaker is a licensing officer of the Food and Drug Administration, Region 7. So please welcome Miss Grace Cardona. Miss Grace, hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Miss Bea.
Hi, Miss Grace. How are you on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay ra kaayo. And thank you so much for inviting us.
Okay.
So, can I now share my screen?
Go ahead, Miss Grace. We're very excited to learn from you. So I'm just going to give the floor to you. Take it away.
Okay, thank you so much again. Okay, again, mayong hapon kanatong tanan. So I will be sharing to you about license to operate and its requirements issued by FDA or the Food and Drug Administration of the Philippines. And this is formerly known as BFAD, or the Bureau of Food and Drugs, and it is a health regulatory agency. By the way, in that picture, that is the building of FDA located in Alabang. And FDA is under the Department of Health, created on 1963 by virtue of Republic Act 3720. Now, this is our vision, an internationally recognized center of excellence in health product regulation by 2026. Even then, we are already internationally recognized. When we speak of health product, that would mean food, the processed food, drugs and medicines, not the regulated drugs because that is under PDEA. We have cosmetics, we have medical device. Now, for our mission, to guarantee the safety, the quality, the purity, efficacy of health products. For what reason? In order to protect and promote the right to health of the general public. Now, Republic Act 9711, or otherwise known as FDA Act of 2009, the manufacturing, distribution, importation, even exportation, sale, and offer for sale of the processed food products. So when we speak of processed food products, an example of this is dried mangoes, canned goods, including food supplement. So kaning food supplement, these are vitamins, are being licensed by FDA. Republic Act 10611, also known as the Food Safety Act of 2013, FDA is mandated to ensure the safety of all food processing and product packaging activities. By the way, canteens, restaurants that is not under FDA. So dili na nato gi-regulate. We also have our city health. So mo'y nag-regulate sa ilaha. They also have the sanitary permits. Now, to develop and issue appropriate authorization in the form of a license and certificate of registration, that covers establishments. So meaning your license to operate is for your establishment or for the facility, while for the product is you have the CPR. So the license to operate and the CPR should go hand in hand. And the number one requirement to secure the CPR is your license to operate. Okay, now, Republic Act 10611, we can see in Section 13, the principal responsibility of food business operators. Food business operators shall ensure, okay, kinahanglan, siguraduhon gid nato as business operators, as the owner, that food satisfies the requirements of food law relevant to their activities in the supply chain, and control systems are in place. Unsa man ang bot ipasapot nga control system? Do we have SOPs? Do we have standard operating procedures? For example, in cleaning of your equipment, cleaning of your premises, do you allow your personnel to be working with you with long fingernails or without wearing caps and apron? So kinahanglan everything should be in place. For what reason? Okay? To prevent and eliminate. So eliminate, wala gyud, or reduce the risks to consumers because we too are consumers. So kinahanglan masigurado nato nga kanisi, for example, company ABC, limpyo gini siya. Sigurado gini nga kaning atong gikaon kanang limpyo gini siya, nakamit gini siya with the standard requirements. So showing to you is our organizational structure. Just to give you an idea, we are headed by a Director General under Dr. Rolando Domingo, and under him we have two Deputy Director. We have for the internal management, while on the other hand is the FRO, or the Field Regulatory Operations Office, where the regional offices belong. So under Attorney Polig, we have two. We have REU, the Regulatory Enforcement Unit, which serves summons, orders, while the Regional Field Office, we have Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Luzon is divided into two, the North and South Luzon, while the Visayas comprising of Region 6, 7, and 8, while Mindanao, we have the East and West. So each one is headed by a director. Now, this is what I have mentioned. We have these centers: Center for Food, Center for Drug, Center for Device, and Center for Cosmetics. Just for example, later on, you will be planning to go into manufacturing of certain product, processing. So you get license from that center, from Center for Food. And then you will be planning to invest, and you will be dealing on importation or distribution, wholesaling of drugs and medicines. So you get another license. So meaning to say you have 2 licenses. Further, gusto pag yung ka mo invest or mo divert sa imuhang negosyo, and you will be importing cosmetics. So that would mean another license. So kinahanglan tulod jud ka lisensya. So at the same time, if you are a manufacturer, kinahanglan imuhang produkto should get or should have CPR or Certificate of Product Registration. Now, this I will be showing to you how to request for e-portal account. Just like in the bank, diba naagitay bank account number. So when we get license to operate, kinahanglan gitag na e-portal account. All you have to do is to download FDA Circular 2016-004. On that last page, you print the authorization letter and you fill it up. Have it notarized, scan using PDF para daw dili kayo bugat. Then you send it to FDAC. Now, FDAC, that is Food and Drug Action Center. So everything is sent to Manila. Even our license is issued by Manila. At the regional level, kami, dire, we only recommend whether you will be issued a license to operate. Now, for that matter, our subject is to request for ELTO user account. Then that is the body. So di na lang na ako na siya basahon. Maklaro naman siguro sa screen. Now, this is, just to give you an idea, this is the template for the authorization letter. That one. So later, you can download that. You can download that through Facebook or i-google lang na to. So once you have the e-portal account within 24 hours, kay ang transaction na is between you and Manila. So ang atuhang control sa system is in Manila. Wa milabot ana. At the regional level, we only do inspection, we do monitoring, we even do investigation just in case if there are any problems or complaints. Now, next thing you do is you log in to our website or the e-portal, fda.gov.ph. Then you click the e-portal. So klaro ra kaayo na siya. Once you go there, then you log in using the given username and the password because you are already provided by Manila for your username and the password. So that username and password, you have to keep it. Kay imuha gina wa na gyud laing maka-access ana except you. So Manila will be communicating to you through your email address. So make sure nga imong email address di kana nimo walaon. Then you start filling up the form. So again, please read carefully and fill up correctly kay ang uban daghang kaayong mga sayo. So these are the requirements. The number 1 requirement is your DTI if it is single ownership, and then you have the SEC if it is corporation, and you have the CDA if it is cooperative. Then we have the mayor's permit or barangay clearance just in case for address purposes. Kay in DTI, di ba mo issue na sila og DTI permit na national. Then you can use it just in case address in Manila, pwede na nimo magamit in Mindanao. So for address purposes, we need your mayor's permit. Now, letter B, qualified person credentials, that is for drug. What is important is the KIPERA, or the qualified person in the industry for regulatory affairs. So for the manufacturer, so siguro kita din hitanan, we are manufacturer, processor. So, wa pa man ta ka-attend ani nga seminar, which also be given by Manila. Ang schedule ani, din haragyapon sa website sa FDA na to makita. Or you can make a promissory letter. Next is the site master file. So later, that is only for trader and bakery. Then so on and so forth. Then the proof of payment, ma-extract na to once na successful ang atong application, then the proof of payment will be extracted. So, i-print lang na nimo. Then you pay at Land Bank. Now, we also have this clearing account. So later, kung makadecide na gyud mo to go to venture and have license with FDA, again, pwede ra nato ni siya ma-download. Or you can call our office. Again, I'll be giving to you now our phone number. This is 262-0996. If you want to have more clarification, we can have longer time, so you can call me. Okay, I'll be glad to serve you. Now, so once you have your e-portal account, mutubag man na ang Manila within 24 hours the most, or let's say 3 days. So, sorry, I think murag ni balik ni siya. Ako na siyang na-discuss. Now, for manufacturers, kung kita manufacturer ta, mandatory gid ang inspection. And these are the standards that we're using for food. We have AO153. By the way, the OST is also helping us. Maghatag na sila og training about GMP, also AO153. This is our GMP, Good Manufacturing Practice. Now for the drug, the standard that we are using is PICS guideline. Pharmaceutical Inspectorate Cooperation Scheme. So, gigamit ni siya within EU. Okay? And for cosmetics, ang atong standard gamit is the ACD, the ASEAN Cosmetic Directive. This is being used by the 11 countries. Example, Singapore, Myanmar, Brunei, etc. Cambodia, Philippines. So, ay labot ang China ni. Okay, so kaning ACD mo at muhang gigamit na standard. Now, how to get the checklist of requirements for food, drug, etc. So please provide separate folder for FDA-related documents just in case. No, kay every time mo anhang atuhang mga regulatory officers ang ilahang mga documents nagputang dito sa mga folder. So please provide separate documents for FDA. So you have to log in again to our website. Then you proceed to old website. Click Industry Corner. So once you are there, murag dali ra gid ni kaayo siya makita. Okay, karon murag this is just an overview. Murag maglisod siguro ta o kuan. Imagine. So Industry Corner, then downloadables, then choose and click the intended requirements. So inana lang gid na siya ka simple. So again, if you have any concerns, issues, clarification, you can call me at that number I gave you, and maybe later I'll be seeing you during the sofa chat. Okay, so thank you, and again, good afternoon.
All right, thank you so much, Miss Grace, for that very Miss Grace, for that very insightful talk. I hope that those who are listening to us today have learned something from Miss Grace. So, Miss Grace, we'll see you later for our sofa talk. But I think we're gonna do it right now. Let's bring back all our speakers for our interactive sofa talk, in which we can talk about all the different things we just discussed today. We're also addressing the different questions that have been asked. And of course, we're very happy to have with us here, Miss Grace, Kyle, Sir Mark, Miss Rose, Miss Claire. Thank you so much again for joining us today. And of course, to all our viewers, please don't forget to drop your questions. And if you have concerns, anything that you'd like to share, put them down in the comment section below. And you can also send in your questions via our private chat via Zoom. And we're also very lucky to have with us this afternoon to join our sofa chat, Mr. Mark Aristotle Cabagnot, the Senior Trade and Industry Development Specialist of DTI Cebu. Hello, Sir Mark. Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good
Yes.
afternoon, everyone.
All right. So congratulations to all our speakers this afternoon. Thank you so much for being the inspirational speakers that you are. I'm pretty sure that a lot of our young entrepreneurs who are listening are now more ignited to actually start their entrepreneurial journey. But before we read on the questions coming from our audiences, I have a personal question to ask to everyone, and anyone can answer. Why is it important to empower the youth to develop an entrepreneurial mindset? Why do we think that the youth should have entrepreneurial skills, or if they do have skills, why is it important to nurture that? Maybe anyone could chime in and give me the answer.
Maybe I can go and start the discussion, no?
Go ahead, Ms.
Yes.
Rose.
Yeah, so thank you for that question, Dea. No? So for me, I think youth has more creative minds. So they are usually able to develop and produce something new to offer in the market. No? So I'm really excited to know that DTI actually has this program, no, in encouraging our youth. So that's it. Thank you.
I agree. Creative minds and creative ideas is something that the youth possess nowadays. Maybe, Sir Mark, why do you, if you want to add something, why do you think we should empower the youth to become entrepreneurs?
Okay, as Jose Rizal said before that the youth is the future of the land of the Philippines, and we believe here in DTI, we believe that it is important that we empower the youth. That through entrepreneurship, we can build a better Philippines, a better country if we promote entrepreneurship.
Yes, and I'm very inspired by that. Thank you for reminding us that that Dr. Jose Rizal, our national hero, actually believes in all of us. And to the youth listening to us, if you agree with what Sir Mark said, drop the Philippine flag emoji. I must be proud Filipinos or Filipino youth who will maybe someday will become entrepreneurs. Kyle, I think you wanna add something?
Yeah, I'd like to add with Ms. Rose and Sir Mark. The youth nowadays, speaking that I believe I'm the youngest of this team right now. The youth are more empowered in terms of the use of the social media. So in this advent of technology, I think they have more time and more experience of using the social media platforms. And to speak, that is one way of widening your market and to start your business. I think with Facebook, we have the Facebook Marketplace, and the IG is made free for everyone. So they could always use these platforms to do their business.
All right. Thank you so much, Kyle. As a fellow youth and a youth member yourself, it's definitely inspiring for a fellow youth to inspire other youth. So thank you. So I have another question now. Since DTI and other government agencies have all these programs readily available for the youth and for those aspiring young entrepreneurs to actually kick off their businesses, what do you think are the different challenges that the youth is facing right now that's causing them to put the business start on a pause muna? So what do you think are the different challenges that they face right now? If anyone would like to chime in. Why is it difficult to start a business knowing that there are a lot of programs provided already by DTI? And you guys have been very vocal about it. And I think that in fairness, grabe yun ang marketing and ang activities and events at DTI. But why do you think not everyone is starting their journey yet?
Hello, Miss Bea. Yes, I would like to answer that one. No, so basically, our youth are very innovative in terms of entrepreneurship. However, one of the constraints of allowing them to pursue in doing business is their capital, the working capital to start their new business.
Yes. I would agree that the capital can be a challenge there. How about the others? What are the other inputs that maybe you can put on the table? Para naman maybe some of our aspiring young entrepreneurs would say na, I feel valid, kaya dili na din ako ang galisod sa capital. Does anyone want to add into that? Sir Mark, go ahead. I think you're on mute.
Yeah. Okay, Ms. Dea. Thank you. If I may add, I think some youth are not yet confident about themselves. So maybe they have to join more seminars and trainings with DTI and with other government agencies. That's why we're very active in promoting the seminars and trainings. So for all the youth, if you think you're not yet qualified to become an entrepreneur, please visit DTI or any negosyo center. Thank you.
Okay, that's very well said.
Can I also
Sir
say
Mark?
something?
Go ahead, Ms. Grace.
Yeah, I think they also need more encouragement, especially not even the youth, no? Sa pagkakaroon mo na sila, I'm talking from the side of FDA, nga ang license ko na mo lisod. But to tell you honestly and frankly, sayon ra gyud na kayo. So do not be discouraged, and we'll be there to help you. Okay?
Okay, that's really encouraging to hear, Miss Grace, because I think in everything that we actually do in life, whether it's business, whether it's getting married or starting a new chapter, I think the first part or the first step to making all these things happen is the most challenging part. Not every day, not all challenges come with a group support. So to those who are aspiring to become entrepreneurs, I think you should take comfort in the fact that there is a diverse group of people right in front of you today. You know their names. Pwede mo sa search sa Facebook. Advertise kita mo, ma'am. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you actually would like to ask, if you need support, then it's so comforting to know that they are here for all of you this afternoon. So thank you so much to our speakers, no? And we do have a couple of questions that have been submitted to us in the comment section. And the first one comes from an anonymous attendee, and he's asking, is copyright applicable too for those who have their own book with poetries or like a poetry book? It's a very technical question. I think this person might want to.
Yes, I think that question is for me, ma'am. Well, basically, all literary works are copyrightable now, provided that the content of the book is or the content or the content that they want to apply for copyright must be an original creations. Now, if it is just a compilation of poems, no, it can be registered for copyright, but it will fall under derivative works. So under derivative works, which derive from the existing original works, so they must secure first a consent from the original creation. And of course, it should be original. I mean, the poem itself should be original. No alteration should be done to the poems or to the original creations. So yes, it is copyright.
Okay, I think that's a very good answer to the question. To whoever sent out that question, thank you so much, Sir Nathaniel, for giving us insights regarding that. Now we have another question, and this is about BMBE. So BMBE was mentioned a while ago. May we ask, what are the requirements for income tax exemption? So I think maybe Kyle, you can kick off this conversation.
Okay, yes. So for the BMBE, or the Barangay Micro Business Enterprise Certificate of Authority that is now issued by the Department of Trade and Industry, before issued by your local government unit, for your submission, you may submit on the nearest negotiation centers or the DTI officer. For the requirements, first is a duly accomplished application form, which is also downloadable online on our website, that is dti.gov.ph, under the tab of resources and downloadable form. So the BMB application form is available there, together with your recent mayor's permit. And if available, you should submit your latest and audited financial statement, together with your business name certificate issued by DTI if under sole proprietorship, SEC certificate if under partnership corporation to include one-person corporation, and certification from CDA if under cooperative. And I think Ms. Rose can add with the legalities under BIR.
Ms. Rose?
Yes. Thank you, Kyle, for answering also that question. And just to add to what Kyle have discussed, and before we go to the requirements, for the income tax exemption, I just want to clarify first that this income tax exemption is only applicable to income of the of BNBE purely from its operation. So if BNBE has income from other sources, like if the BNBE has a passive income from sale of let's say property, that will not be covered by the exemption. So the income tax exemption is applicable only to its registered operation. Now, with respect to the requirements for exemption with the BIR, so as Kyle mentioned, the BMBE is required to submit copy of its certificate of authority, duly authorized by the Office of the City or Municipal Treasurer, audited financial statements, also a sworn statement of the value of asset owned or used to be used by the BMBE. So as I think Kyle also mentioned earlier in his discussion on that, for you to be qualified as a BMBE, your total asset must be 3 million. So in order to prove that to the BIR, you need to submit a sworn statement of the value of your asset. So, and then the third requirement is to submit a certified list of branches, sales outlet, and places of production if applicable. And then certificate of list of affiliates indicating their addresses, if applicable only. Now, the exemption is also applicable not only for income tax, but also from withholding tax. So once you complied with the requirements of the BIR will actually issue a certification. And that certification contains the duration of your exemption from income tax. So if the certification already expired, you need to reapply again to the BIR. And that's all. I hope that's answered your question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Rose, and thank you, Sir Kyle. That was very insightful indeed. And I'm so amazed that you know all these requirements and steps by heart. It just really goes to show that you're super dedicated in empowering our aspiring entrepreneurs. So to whoever asked that question, I hope that we were able to actually give you more insight regarding BMBE. Again, thank you, Sir Kyle and Ms. Rose. And we have another question. Again, it's from an anonymous attendee. Is there any program that DTI offers to those planning to have a startup business but do not have anything yet for collateral or capital? So I think we mentioned kanina that one of the few challenges that young entrepreneurs are facing right now, of course, is the lack of capital when starting a business. So the question there is, does DTI have a program to actually help those who do not have capital? Ms. Claire?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Dea. For that question, we actually have different negotiation centers around our Cebu province or region 7 or entire nationwide, no, in the Philippines. So all aspiring entrepreneurs, we visit the negotiation center. We have available seminars there, like the entrepreneurship seminar, where they will be our negotiation center counselors can help them on how to start their own business, on how to be entrepreneurial, to be what you call that, how they can start their own business and their own, no. So, however, for those who have started the business, we have this small business corporation, our fund manager. You may access their loan application through their website, the brs.sbgfc.gov.ph.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for that information, Ms. Claire. So to those who are actually having struggles with their capital or collateral, so we have Go Negosyo centers that you can definitely visit. And can I just say, and I just really want to reiterate this, that I think from Sri to all the speakers this afternoon, that you have readily made yourselves available online. And I noticed that people can easily make business transactions easier right now with the presence of digital platforms that you have provided for them. I'm just curious, ever since that you started being available online, ever since you started putting out this online business registration, has there been a spike in terms of applications and registrations? Is there any implication with, because we all know that especially the youth, their attention right now is really in digital platforms. And the best way for them to actually be engaged is through the presence of the internet. So my question is, we actually have a spike, or is there a positive impact now that we are readily available online? Anyone could just chime in.
Okay, with DTI BNRF, or the Business Name Registration System, made possible online even before the pandemic, we have a continuous rise of business name applications even then. And to reiterate, this web portal, it has given the applicants the choice to have a longer time of thinking about of their proposal of their business name, since they are applying in the comfort of their home. Since the application is made easy, the process is continued with the process of e-payment partner. So they no longer have to leave their homes to accomplish this. So I think in this time of pandemic, when people are trying to go online business, there is a right business name applications and business applications to go for. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. It's nice to know that you have taken the first step to digital transformation even before this pandemic, because I think you can all agree with me that everyone just was forced into digital. We're even having this this digital talk right now, and supposedly, diba, usually the guy would have it in a hotel and we all get to see each other, we get to network. But right now, because of digital, everything's just happening here, and we're very happy to actually have you with us today. To those who are watching us today, please don't be shy to drop in your questions. We have our speakers here in front, and they're very ready to actually get back to you on the concerns you have when it comes to starting a business. Now, I have a question here from a friend who's starting a social enterprise, and is there any difference between starting an MSME versus starting a social enterprise? Because of course, when you have a social enterprise, you're empowering a community, and then a lot of I know this person and I know this group of social entrepreneurs, and there's a study actually by WEF that when you actually start a business and you're a social enterprise, it doesn't really last long, because some of these people who start a social enterprise forget that it's still a business at the end of the day. Even if you're helping a community, even if you're empowering a marginalized sector through a business, it's still a business, diba, at the end of the day. So have you encountered challenges and social entrepreneurs who need help in this journey? Maybe Sir Mark? You are on mute, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, if in terms of registering, there's no difference if it's a social enterprise or not. So if for example, it's owned by one person, so you register with DTI. But if it's an association or cooperative, you register with CDA, and association with DOLE. And if it's a corporation or partnership, you register with SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. The difference, I think, social enterprise have an impact in the society, right? So but most of them have the problem of sustainability, because they're a social enterprise. So, they're thinking more of the impact to the society or the community. I think the challenge there is really to run the enterprise, even if it's a social enterprise, as a business. So probably the managers or management or the owner or the board of directors, for example, of a cooperative association should join really more trainings and seminars so that they can improve on how to run or operate the enterprise.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sir Mark. And I'm asking this question because I have noticed also that when young entrepreneurs actually start up a business, especially the millennials, correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, but a lot of them want to have parang a CSR or to help the community in return. So when you come up with a business, there has to be a certain impact in a certain community. That's very, very common in the new businesses being pushed forward by the youth today. So thank you so much for giving us light regarding that, Sir Mark, that, you know what, at the end of the day, no matter how noble your cause is, no matter how important your work is for a certain sector or community, you're still running a business. And all these trainings, all these seminars, all these requirements even, are something you must fulfill. So to those social entrepreneurs or those aspiring social entrepreneurs watching us today, please don't forget that at the end of the day, you're still going to be businessmen and entrepreneurs. So avail of the different services offered to us by DTI and the other government agencies with us this afternoon. I think we have the last question for this session. And again, it's from an anonymous attendee, and she's asking, Does DTI offer consultation for aspiring entrepreneurs for business ideas? For those who do not have any idea yet on what kind of business they want to engage in, can they try to collaborate with existing businesses? I think these are aspiring entrepreneurs who do not have parang a clear vision or direction of what they want yet, but maybe they're 100% sure that I really want to become an entrepreneur. It's just that I don't have a product or a service yet. So the question is, does DTI offer consultations and possible collaborations and networking to other existing businesses? So whoever wants to chime in.
Okay, so I think I can answer that. So as mentioned in our presentation, we have negosyo centers which spread widely in different cities and municipalities as a satellite office of DTI, which can handle business registration assistance to include business information advocacy. That includes consultations, seminars, and trainings that are all for free. So the negosyo centers are handled by trained negosyo center business counselors, which undergo small business counselor courses that may equip them of handling the necessary information that are needed by our MSMEs. And to include with that, we have free seminars and trainings, and I think Claire can add up with an example of which mentoring program this is.
Okay, thank you, Sir Kyle. So to add to that, we have this program, the Kapatid Mentor Me program, no, as mentioned in my presentation. So this program is the mentorship program. So we offer 10 modules. So some of our applicants or MSMEs who avail to the program are not into entrepreneurship, or they graduated nurse or any other courses not related to business. So through KMME, we help them to be mentored and be mentored by our top caliber coaches and mentors from Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So we have different modules like entrepreneurship and values formation. We also have marketing. We also have taxation, modules in taxation, human resource and management, financial advocacy, and accounting. And we also have this, the business laws, where we will help our MSMEs know how to create a contract and abide with the laws, no, and taxation also. So we have different modules good to help our MSMEs to be mentored on how also to start their business and scale up their business.
Okay, thank you, Sir Kyle and Miss Claire. So to answer your question to whoever is asking, yes, there are a lot of available consultations. Again, guys, all you need to do is maybe go to their website. All you need to do is reach out. They're just there and they're waiting for you. So again, before we wrap up this sofa chat, we're very, very thankful for all the speakers who joined us this afternoon. Maybe we can end with everyone sharing a short message to all the aspiring entrepreneurs or aspiring youth entrepreneurs watching us today. Please encourage them to start their journey. Can we start with Miss Grace? Words of encouragement for our startup entrepreneurs watching us today. Miss Grace, I think you are currently on mute. Muna siyang equivalent sa nag-on yung mic, di ba? Kung nasa mute.
Lagi. Siguro I can hear you clearly. Sorry. So to all of you listening right now, so FDA is right here. If you want to know more on how to secure license to operate from FDA, do not be discouraged. So may lisod ako ng FDA, but it is easy. If you are only determined and willing to comply, we are always here for you. We also give tutorial every Monday, but right now, because of the pandemic, murag na stop sa na nato karon. So you can call our office. I have given you our number, 2620996, and we are here for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Grace. It's a very encouraging statement. We are here for you. Don't hesitate to call Ms. Grace. And now, Sir Kyle.
I'd like to reiterate what I have said on my presentation. We should not let this pandemic for any obstacle stop our entrepreneurial spirit. So please, if you have that inkling effect or insight of yourself, if you are available to do business, then why not? In behalf of the Department of Trade and Industry, as the information officers, you may call us to our telephone numbers at 255-6971 or mobile hotline 0917-818-8419, and connect with us on our Facebook page where we post business information, advocacy, free webinars, trainings, and seminars. That is DTI Cebu. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Kyle. Miss Claire.
Okay, so for those existing and aspiring entrepreneurs who want to learn and be inspired from the entrepreneurial journey of the DTI program, please come and visit us in DTI office. You may also visit your nearest negosyo center.
Thank you, Miss Claire. Very straightforward. How about Sir Nathaniel?
Yes, hello. To the young entrepreneurs, don't afraid to venture into business. And of course, before doing into business, don't also forget to consider IP. IP must be part of your business plan. So again, thank you so much and God bless.
Thank you so much, Sir Nathaniel. And Sir Mark, please inspire our youth watching us today. Sir Mark,
okay. For our youth, for our listeners, we'd like you to dream big. Really, aspire for your dreams, chase your dreams, and it's important that you believe in yourself because you can't sell any product or any service if you don't believe in yourself. So we'd like to encourage you also to be information seeking. There are different services. Different agencies that are available for you. So come visit any government agency that you would need. So open good government for you all. And finally, I think you have to continue to be creative and innovative, and again to believe in yourself. Thank you for this. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sir Mark, and that's a very powerful message. Like, above all the requirements and things that you need to think about, the first thing you need to think about is yourself and your confidence. So you just start believing in yourself because we all believe in you. Next and last but not the least, Miss Rose. Kindly inspire our young entrepreneurs watching us today.
Yeah, so with respect to the registration with the BIR, in fact, the BIR already streamlined the application process for registration, and they are really committed to digital transformation for our taxpayers as well as aspiring entrepreneur to be able to comply smoothly with their rules and regulations. So the entrepreneur right now in this age is actually what do you call this? They are actually lucky, because the government have a lot of what do you call this programs for them, to help them for their future. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Rose. And thank you to all our panelists and speakers for this afternoon for this very, very insightful and informative talk. Miss Grace, Sir Kyle, Miss Claire, Mr. Nathaniel, Sir Mark, and Miss Rose, you are a blessing and an inspiration to all our viewers today, our young entrepreneurs, and your words of encouragement will definitely go a long way. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And that wraps up DTI Region 7's Young Entrepreneurship Program, or YEP, a webinar series. We hope that you or everyone was able to learn a lot of things, not only from this afternoon's webinar, but the YEP webinars that we have held previously. Of course, we are holding the YEP webinar series to inspire all our young and aspiring entrepreneurs to actually kick off your journey by learning from the very best in the country. This was just a taste of all the other fun and informative webinars that DTI Region 7 has prepared. Yes, there's going to be more, and I hope we were able to shed light on the different various government business support programs that could play a crucial role in how you run and, of course, grow your businesses. thank you to all our speakers who attended this afternoon. Thank you so much for inspiring us and for sharing your knowledge and lending us your valuable time. Salamat po. I'm pretty sure you're able to inspire the next generation of successful entrepreneurs here in the country. And sa lahat po ng ating viewers, thank you po sa walang sawang suporta nyo sa ating mga webinars. No? Sana marami kayong napulot na impormasyon tungkol sa mga government business support programs na pwedeng makatulong sa pagpapatakbo ng iyong mga negosyo. We hope that you will keep on supporting our upcoming webinars because, as we keep saying here since day one, you are our inspiration in coming up with informative webinars. So thank you, thank you. Before we officially wrap up our YEP webinar series, to all our viewers out there, especially the youth, do not be afraid to chase your business dreams as long as you take time to prepare for it. Of course, make use of all the resources that have been made available to you, of course, provided by our government, then you will definitely succeed. Yun nga, the journey to success starts with a single tiny step. So go ahead, chase your dreams, because we at DTI Region 7 are here for you and will be the wind beneath your wings. We'll be happy to support you. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the Department of Trade and Industry Region 7 for organizing and initiating this webinar. Thank you so much for providing a platform for our viewers to learn, especially during this pandemic. You have made the impossible happen. Super thanks to our friends at DTI. If you have enjoyed our webinar and would want to learn more, please watch all of our upcoming webinars. Of course, as always, our goal to inspire everyone to kickstart our economic rebuilding and recovery process. Please take note of the following dates for our digital marketing strategies for MSMEs webinars. Please take note. November 12, content marketing, using content to promote your brand. November 19, social media marketing, using social media to connect with your audience. November 26, Facebook and Instagram marketing tips for MSME. We have December 3, Facebook ads for beginners to promote your products online. And lastly, on December 4, new digital marketing strategies to explore beyond 2020. I love and I'm super excited to be learning from these upcoming sessions. As you can see, for our upcoming webinars, we will be tackling topics that are related to digital marketing strategies for MSMEs. And as we all know, times are changing. That is why some of us are starting our businesses online. And it's very important to know how we can make the most of the digital space, especially for our webinar on November 12th. We will be inviting experts to talk about content marketing, specifically on how to use content to promote your brand. So please catch this webinar on November 12th, 2 p.m. That's going to be on Facebook Live and via Zoom. All right, these webinars are all part of DTI 7's initiative with the goal of encouraging businesses to adopt the technology solutions and making it safer for both businesses and consumers. As community involvement is critical to the program's success, DTI Region 7 hopes that the webinars will spark business sector-led movement for the adoption of smarter and better digital practices for our budding young entrepreneurs. For more information on all the talks that we are going to be having, and if you have anything to ask, go ahead and follow DTI 7 at Facebook. That's the DTI Region 7 Central Visayas. You can also subscribe to DTI 7 digital channel on YouTube. Again, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. The DTI Region 7's first YEP webinar. We hope to see you in our upcoming webinar soon. My name is Bea Alfar Everdone, saying that with initiative and collaborative effort, we will always be ready to recover as one safe community. As our national hero, Jose Rizal, said, ang kabataan ay ang pag-asa ng bayan. So for the youth out there, what are you waiting for? Start your business journey today. I'm very, very excited to see you succeed. And thank you so much for joining us again this afternoon. Goodbye. Stay safe, everyone. Amping mabay. Thank you.